Welcome to the fall workshop series offered by Pentair. Today's topic is commercial opportunities. Think like an entrepreneur when it comes to water. And when approaching this presentation, having been a dealer, I just put on my what do I got to do to make the phone ring hat? The phone's quiet this month. What do I do? Where do I go find opportunities? Or I'm planning for next year. What's my focus going to be? What part of this market is going to drive business for me, right? So, always keep in context of what's going on in the real world. Right now, a real big opportunity, ahead of us in water treatment is vaccine production. Well, a simple little quick online search lets us know that we don't have the capacity to produce all the vaccines required. So with COVID amping up, several new vaccines on the horizon, it may be time for our dealers to go out and our distributors to start contacting some of these pharmaceutical companies. And there's a lot of small ones out there that are going to need water treatment or increase their capability to meet the coming demand. It's out there. It's a simple search. So this all starts with being curious. When we start thinking about commercial valve opportunities, we go back to fundamental questions. I know this seems really, really obvious. Who uses water? Well, everyone uses water. Literally everyone. Everyone can benefit from water quality management. The longer time you spend looking at water quality around your community, your state, your nation, you realize everybody really does need some form of treatment in order to protect their investments in their equipment and improve their quality of life. So, at everyone. Well, who needs soft water? Well, anyone who heats water, processes ingredient water for a treatment method, who needs treated water, anybody making a product to remove the chlorine. Schools, hospitality, everyone involved in those markets needs water. Processed water, bottlers, manufacturers, schools, not so much at the moment, but when we get back to schools, they're going to need treated water. Great time to get in there now so they have the ability to go after those school upgrade projects of filtration now when the schools are mostly empty. Good opportunity to do that. But start pulling back layers of the onion, thinking about who's using water. Now, who does the work is another avenue to think about it. Who already services the equipment that uses water? One of the big disconnects in water treatment is that only treatment dealers are touching filtration. That isn't true. There are a lot of plumbers, HVAC, specialty equipment manufacturers that repair equipment, but they don't treat water. Well drillers that don't treat water, maintenance staff and facilities people that are geared towards equipment maintenance. My brother is a GM plant mechanic supervisor. He doesn't know crap about treating water, so they bring somebody in to do that. There's often a disconnect between facilities teams and corporate facilities managers. The guys on the ground day to day may not feel the ability to speak up. So those are people you're going to want to talk to on leads. Talk to the doers and the deciders in the same, in separate conversations or in the same conversations. You may get, uncover some from truths there that aren't being talked about when it comes to maintenance work. Service providers often select the equipment. So, and what I mean that is groups like Sofesa, which is a food service organization that services food service equipment, they don't deal with filtration. They train techs and certify them but those technicians aren't working on the water. Good companies to partner with because there's lots of water out there to be treated. Where are there local water issues? And do I know the solution to that? Well, if we want to think about PFAS and PFOAs, anywhere there's a military base that has any sort of aircraft or firefighting facilities, every single one of them, potential opportunity. If you think of any industries that processed, used Teflon, may have issues in the area. Any water resistant coatings that you know of. Start thinking about the things you use in your daily lives that are there. Do you live around a mining community where you may have issues with runoff from mines that are in the groundwater? Do you live in a farming community? Indiana's got a notorious nitrate issue. That's a great opportunity to find avenues to help people and go from there. Do well waters come up out of the ground with low pH? Do you need to modify that? Do you have high iron content where everybody's going to need treatment? TOC and VOC, the Gulf Coast, there's lots of organics in a lot of those wells down there. A web search in any and all 4 states, issues in your territory. The Pacific Northwest, their reservoirs have had issues with blue-green algae outbreaks. Good opportunity for ultrafiltration. You look at the Great Lakes, especially Lake Erie being the shallowest of the Great Lakes, has blue-green algae outbreaks. We dealt with that a few years ago with Columbus and Dayton being shut down. Boil orders, do not consume orders because of the blue-green algae got pulled into their system. Realize that there's opportunities not just in well water, but municipal water along these lines as well. And when we think about high purity water for injection, every water needs to be treated there. Laboratory water, pharmaceutical water, cosmetic water. So you want to brainstorm some opportunities for your market. Think like a dealer. All right, go back. What do I got to do to make that phone ring? Well, part of our job as salespeople within Pentair and in our distribution network is to understand who needs water and guide our customers where their opportunities are, help them understand what they're missing. Think like a dealer. Where can I find quick hit opportunities? That's where you see boil orders. Right now, we're in the midst of one of the biggest quick hit opportunities, albeit a rather tragic one, but it is an opportunity for water treatment. Right now with COVID, everyone's health conscious. Everyone's concerned about what they're consuming, what's contacting their bodies right now. We've seen this with a massive upsurge in home filtration products. DIY kits would probably be a great opportunity for an online retailer to sell complete packages of treatment systems ready to go out the door to address these needs. Where can I find long-term opportunities? What chains are growing? What chains are looking to expand in the food service world or whatever sort of application it is? Who's growing right now? In general, residential work offers larger margins on equipment, but overall lower investment on cost. In general, commercial work offers tighter margins, but higher investment. So you get larger amounts of money, but at a smaller margin, typically with commercial work. But commercial work offers higher PM contract potential versus residential. Why? Commercial work, we're managing uptime. We want to make sure everything using the water is able to stay up and running because that's where they're making their money from, right? Is that equipment. We want to keep that equipment running, and that's why we're managing the water. So PM contracts around those water treatment pieces of equipment prevents downtime and lost product runs. Lots of ideas. There's tons of ways to go out and address this. What works best for your business? What fits you as a business to go out and do? Not everybody will handle the same niche markets as well. Do you want to deal with standalone corporate entities versus corporate structures with multiple locations like a franchisee? those sorts of situations. Understand the context there. Are you looking at mom and pops that are opening up versus, chain stores or local franchisee groups that you may want to address, like a Dunkin' Donuts who has regional operators like that? Personalities will see opportunities differently. Realize, understand some of your competitors in your market. What are their personalities? Who can you steer into that niche that they don't want to take? 20-minute brainstorming session. I just, started Googling, what can I find out there in the world that allows me to sell more? Well, in a very, very quick session, came up with any beauty establishment, coffee shops, gyms, pet stores, anybody with a water heater that uses hot water, commercial ice. This is on the light commercial end. This is improved customer experience with lowering their product costs. They're not using as much soap and product with their customers. They're able to use less. Well, that's a big deal to a small chain. Reducing water heating costs. Lots of loss here due to not using a water softener, even in marginally hard water environments. Equipment protection. Do they need to service some sort of device that needs pure water, needs water softening as pre-treatment for ROs? Doctors' offices, dentist offices with their autoclaves, those sorts of places need high purity water for their sterilization equipment, often overlooked. Gyms, healthier water, better mix of supplements, improved customer experience. I drink the water at my gym, mostly now due to when I hated it. I've been trying to get my gym to buy filters for a while now, and those are franchisee operations as well. I don't drink the water there because it sucks, and it's a drawback to go in there. The thing about pet stores, all those fish tanks need treatment. They're adding makeup water. There's opportunity there, and all that really represents is a livestock item for a pet store. Well, then there's down that chain. If you go into the aquaria cultures, the suppliers and the vendors of those fish to all those pet stores need water treatment as well. Aquaculture is a big deal. It's a bigger industry than we think it is. Lower costs and longer life on all their equipment, lowers downtime and pre-treatment for reverse osmosis systems or other high purity systems out there as well. So there's a lot out there you can Google. More light commercial. Anybody who's got a boiler, schools, all their water treatment, all their cooking equipment. Basically, they're a small city, so contained in a building. Bakeries, ingredient water matters to this equipment, especially if they're using steam cooking equipment or proofers or ovens in their facility. Really makes a significant impact on bakeries. Restaurants, not so much right now, but when they ramp back up, they're going to need all that filtration stuff serviced and replaced. Car washes, real impactful here, especially with water recirculation and reclamation systems that cut down on water expense to begin with. So tons of different opportunities where we're basically managing costs short-term and long-term for these businesses. So understand the impact of what we're doing on a specific industry, go from there. If you've walked into a grocery store in the last 5-6 years, you've noticed they've gone from being just grocery stores into full markets like we used to have with food vendors built in. Well, the vendor is now the grocery store. There's lots of cooking equipment back there that needs treatment, along with the ice and produce misters and floral department, all treated water. Lots of demand there. Stepping up into more commercial stuff, OEM water using equipment. There's a lot of water using equipment that you might not know about or be curious about. Marble cutters, water jet cutting equipment for cutting metals. Well, that basically happens in a large tank of recirculated, with water that collects a lot of debris and is wasted and thrown away. Well, if you can purify that water and reclaim it, you can save these guys tens, if not hundreds of thousands of gallons of water every year. This alone on water jet cutters for marble in California alone is a $5 million opportunity in water treatment. There's these type of water jet cutters all over the globe, where if you can save them that input water cost by reclaiming it, filtering out all the dust, running it through RO, and getting it back to where it's a beneficial tool for the unit, prevents breakdown of the unit, that sort of thing. Dairies, good water equals good. There's lots of studies out there that if you're, providing your cows with good drinking water, it improves the quality of the products coming out of them. It's just like us as a human being. Put bad water in, bad things happen. Good water in, guess what? Same thing. If you think of how, like your wife nursing your own children, you're going to put good water in that situation. Same situation here. Beer, mostly water, lots of breweries, lots of microbreweries. You need to have a specific ingredient, water quality there that goes into the brewing process, water heat savings for pasteurization and things like that going on the back end, carbon filtration, vac product versus high volume, RO pretreatment goes in here as well. Lots of opportunities in the brewing and distilling world. Hotels. This is where a lot of aggressive flow systems are sold. You probably know that, but we were on the road. If you're going out and you're finding your shower leaves you sticky in the morning, you just passed up an opportunity if you walk out that door. Pass that on to your customers. Hey, the Marriott I stayed in last night doesn't have soft water, or if they do, it's not working. So drop in. Managed care facilities. With baby boomers, this is a huge growth industry. These are self-contained cities with higher purity water needs, all the cooking equipment that's involved in these places, plus managing, sodium levels and things like that going into drinking water. Dialysis facilities. These people do water treatment and equipment care once a week. They need to make sure that water is pure going into these treatments. So large category of commercial treatments. The single largest water user in North America is the auto industry. And there is not one water using piece of equipment in an assembly plant. It's all their downstream manufacturing that feeds that industry, the plastic injection molding companies that are using water to cool their equipment, cool their molds. It's the paint vendors, it's the fabric suppliers, it's the dyes and things that go into that. When you trace that vendor route back out of the auto industry, there's tremendous numbers of opportunities there for water. Casinos, commercial, casinos are awesome because there's so many multiple kitchens and huge kitchens there, huge opportunity there, and anything you can do to manage their operational costs is good for them. Commercial kitchens, fish hatcheries need make up water for those tanks and things. Prisons, self-contained cities with specific needs and applications. There's people that specialize in, serving prisons. Cooling towers, they're everywhere in the digital age. Universities, these are gold mines of opportunity for treatment, from food service to laundry to laboratory water to sterilizer. There's so many different uses of water on a university that all need custom solutions. Great opportunity to get in. The University of Cal Poly University in Southern California has their own microbrew program that they're making their own beer on campus and they sell on campus. They go through a ton of water. Huge opportunities there. Rainwater reuse. This is going to be big going forward in the 21st century. As the population gets larger, we need to reuse our water more frequently. Gray water reuse. If you're not thinking about those opportunities, you probably need to start. Water scarcity is a global concern. How do we reuse it? How do we target those markets and do it cost effectively? In North America, hydroponics. for specific agricultural industries going forward. Aquaculture. There's high dollar water markets. There's old infrastructure in communities where sewer is a problem. If you're thinking about lead ending up in final products, any community built before 1986 is going to have lead service plumbing in the ground in North America. It's just the truth of it. High volume water use facilities. Who's using a lot of water in your market? Those are the people you want to target. A little more industrial food processors. These are all step ups in capability and volume of water use. Textiles. If you've got any textile facilities or plants or paper mills in your area, huge water users, huge reuse applications. Meat producers, agriculture, horticulture, automotive, coatings, anybody making paints or epoxy coatings, they're going through a lot of water, even though their products end up with no water in them. Electronics, semiconductors, chip manufacturing. Some of this is in small batch processes, other it's large, large scale, opportunities. Lots of different industrial waters that need high purity applications. These can be epic projects, but these are longer sales processes. This is where you want to get on the ground floor with designers and engineers with these large plants and factories, juicers, bottlers, brewers. And if we think about RO and UF, may not be used just for water treatment. It may be used to concentrate products in these applications. It's still a water separation technology. We're just, instead of throwing the concentrate down the drain, we are saving it and reusing the water that we're pulling out. If you go down the grocery aisle and see all those detergents that are now concentrates, somebody pulled the water out of that product in the processing line and reused it. Lots of opportunity there. Anybody wants to make concentrates of things. And then finally, large commercial homes are going to run a commercial house. Large homes, 4,000 square feet and up. You're talking, 1.5 to 2-inch lines in some of these homes. If you've been out in some of these mammoth properties out there, this requires flexible multi-tank situations where you may only have, 1 or cubic foot and a half system, but you need progressive flow because they entertain. Those sorts of situations exist out there. You're going to want to link architects and design firms for certain industries. Why? Get in on the ground floor, get your equipment spec'd in, understand the water needs and how they're going about supplying those water needs. Normally, we're an afterthought, we're a bolt-on to a building. Get involved early on, long-term with some of these designers so they can help solve problems up front. Talk to them about designing in rainwater capture and use into some of their buildings. Arizona and California, that may make sense. Gray water reclamation in high dollar markets may make sense as well in those markets. Commercial gray water reclamation from the process stream used to flush toilets, where before they might have to pay to dispose of that water, via a certain way. But if using a gray water, it goes into the public sanitation system. Realize the impacts of the Clean Water Act on the backside of these companies that may need to have tanks put in their facilities to manage their waste line coming out of their building. Quite often, under the Clean Water Act, they're going to need to go. Water quite often has to be purer than what's into the building. A comment came in. Don't forget grow ops for wheat. Yeah, in everything in North America, essentially for the marijuana industry is an indoor grow that requires pre-treatment and reverse osmosis treatment for all those grow applications. And we're following that with some of the people being innovative about aquaculture and hydroponics at the same time. This is a huge growing market, and they're all clamoring for water chemistry control and reclamation of water to reuse the water they're using. So partner with other tradespersons. Not everybody in every trade likes to do something within it. There's a lot of plumbers that don't ever want to touch a water softener. Plumbers that throw you leads. If they give you X number of leads, in a month, you throw them, a spiff, kick back on that. Organizations like Safesa, which is a food equipment service agency. Look up those companies that may not be strong in water treatment, or where they may need to have somebody come in and provide the water treatment for the whole building rather than investing in small point of use items. Home builders, link up with them. You're building homes in an area with rough water quality. Let's build in a package into your homes that includes water softeners. Nothing better than working on new construction. Well drillers. There's guys out there who want to drill a hole but don't want to treat the water. Partner with those guys in your communities. Facility management firms, companies that do nothing but maintain buildings. Link up with them. Where can they help their customers save money or cut down on costs? On their costs in managing those facilities. So those are apartment complexes, hotels, anything there's service, whether it's strip malls, cleaning services that are coming in, commercial builders. These guys do a lot of building. Quite often, water treatment isn't in the plan. Design firms, appliance repair firms, you name it. Guy comes out and fixes my washing machine. It's not your washing machine. It's the water going into it. So he can't fix my water. But if you're partnered with this guy, he can give you a lead or make a recommendation. Those sorts of things happen all the time. So teamwork to meet customers needs and go on. You move on to something you like to do versus otherwise. Now, gray water. Gray water is water that is recycled with building for use in either irrigation or in flushing toilets. It's not water that is potable, but it is able to be reused and sent to a waste treatment facility after the fact. So it's a great way to leverage water use that may normally go down the drain. There are two basic categories of treatment needs within commercial treatment. Water-related cost management. Water heating costs, the largest expense related to water. Energy efficiency, because if you aren't treating the water going into your boiler, it is becoming less efficient by the gallon of water you put through it. Cleaning costs for hospitality, chemical costs for hard water and organics in the water, cleanup, keeping equipment functioning and moving, water reuse, water and sewer cost management. Service call management for water using equipment and downtime management. We want to keep that water using equipment up and running. I just drove by a concrete saw in the middle of the road with a 5-inch big blue housing on it, circulating, filtering the water going through a concrete saw so that it wouldn't plug up the unit while they're cutting concrete. Who would have thought a walk behind concrete saw would need filtration? But lo and behold, it makes perfect sense. If I'm running water through a unit, it's got a lot of particulate and crap in it, and it plugs up the nozzle on my concrete saw, I go from having a dust-free environment to spreading dust all over the street. That creates a liability issue for people driving by, potential healthcare risks, issues, whole cascade of potential problems solved with a simple filter bolted onto a side of a saw. Those are sort of out-of-box thinking or drawing from your past or your personal experience. Where could something fit? The other one is water quality specifications for process equipment or health concerns. This is about a specific application. What are they using the water for? Ingredient water is a big deal. Osmosis treatments for food production and drinking water, high purity processed water, all needs pre-treatment. related water quality effects. What's the tolerance for water going into that equipment? Why? The human being can tolerate a lot more variance than most equipment can. Equipment warranty maintenance. How do we maintain a warranty on a piece of water using equipment if we aren't managing the water quality? It's a great out for every water using piece of equipment out there. Processed water, QA water quality management, parts cleaning. What are they doing to keep equipment clean in order to keep running? We have can washers at our Everpure facility, line washing equipment, food processing plants. Gray water reuse. Twin Stadium in Minnesota is a great example of us building a system to meet needs for gray water reuse. They hosed down the stadium and they were just letting that run to drain. Now it's being collected, treated underneath the outfield, and being reused. We saved the Twins over 1 million gallons of season in gray water reuse, and we keep their stadium sparkling clean and the grass growing on the ball field. Rainwater, use in treatment trains that will allow a company to capture some of its own water and use it maybe to manage the potable and the gray water side of their building and saving money on processed water. Do they have specific contaminant removal, heavy metal, silica, or organics that will harm their process? Micro distilleries, wineries, and breweries work cross-functionally with Pentair teams to leverage who they know that weren't good customers for them that are smaller out there that might be good customers for our dealers. Learn to work intercompany to find leads. The well pump guys, how many well drillers do they know that we don't know about? So start reaching some of your colleagues to get leads. Questions to ask, always. What are you using the water for? But impactful. What are the problems you're having with your water use presently? What issues what's going on? This is where talking to the facilities managers and those engineers on the floor pays dividends. Do you wish to decrease your energy bills? Who doesn't? Do you wish to lower your chemical usage on your products? Absolutely. Plus, it lightens the burden on the regulation on discharge on the backside. Is there a specific water quality you need to meet for your equipment, not just your product? Going through this with Molson Coors and Canada, that they have an equipment water quality spec for their processing line, but it's not a good quality spec for product when it goes out in the marketplace. Two different animals. Are you managing water for warranty of equipment, product quality, process step, or all of the above? Are water-related service calls problematic for you? Are you replacing equipment too frequently? What are you spending on water-related service costs? How do we manage that? Are you also concerned for drinking water quality for your staff and visitors? Tap into, fixing their equipment problems and their people problems related to water. Is it new construction or existing locations? Is this a scale opportunity? They have multiple facilities. They have good, better, best scenarios based on water. Are you having issues with equipment downtime? May you speak with your facilities management team to discuss water-related issues, not just the decision makers. The decision makers may not know about the issues in the plant. Does product water quality matter to your organization? Does it really matter? Does your environmental impact matter? Great place to go when talking to the facilities. What is your compliance status? What is your tolerance for specific contaminants in your water quality, like hardness, silica, or nitrate, or alkalinity in the water? Does it impact your ability to produce that product? Bakeries all produce local. There's no such thing as a loaf of bread that's flown across country. It's all baked locally. Lots of subcontractor bakers out there making product for other people. Do you know base and peak flow requirements of your facility? What are the problems are you having with your water use presently? Do you have a water heater on site? Can you see the proposed location of the installation? Is access to the proposed system location limited by doorways, hallways, and obstructions? May I take photos for reference when you get on site? What plumbing size is required? Any obvious signs of water quality issues? Scale on the equipment, taste and odor? Use the bathroom, throw on that tap. Do you get a whole ton of chlorine coming off the tap? Is there scale or iron buildup in their bathrooms? Pay attention to what's going on around you. You pick up a lot of water issues. Do they have a water analysis? If not, would you care for that service to be provided? From what municipality do you receive your water? You can call that municipality and get their water chemistry or what you want to know right from the water treatment plant. So, issues are they having for the facilities maintenance people? Get a glass of tap water to drink at a facility. Use all your senses, sight, smell, taste, and hearing. Do you hear water hammer going on? Pipes banging in the background? Good information for flexible adapters with tanks, water hammer arresters. What's going on here? Is it a multi-level installation sort of design? Are there 2 tiers in the factory? Do you need vacuum breakers on tanks and things like that? Look, color in the water. Understand the difference. Bring in some treated water that you have from your home, from your own home system. Bring it in and compare it taste-wise to what's on site. You're gathering information. Take lots of photos. This is great for capturing plumber size, drain locations, obstacles, door measurements, height restriction, obstacles. The more information you can gather and get to a dealer, the better for them to be successful. So understand whether the maintenance staff or facilities management team are going to provide the service for the equipment. If they are, offer on-site training to that staff to maintain that equipment. Make them pay for that privilege as well. Getting them to talk. You get lots of information from these guys. These facilities guys, they'll talk. They love talking shop. But understand that if you're going to save them time and teach them how to do that, you're taking money off your own table. So they should pay for that service of training their staff on how to maintain the equipment. So with the commercial valve, we're really talking about NXT2 system types, really. These are available on everything up to 2510. This needs to be omitted. From the 2750 up through the 3900 on these valves, you have a system 4. This is a standalone softener, 1 inch up to 3 inch plumbing for a standalone softener. Simple design. This is what they look like. System 5, this is one large softener with a meter and cable per unit. This is a managed regeneration. You need a brine tank per unit. This often operates as one big softener, but each unit regenerates on its own capacity going through. System 6, this is just one giant softener, 1 meter, an individual brine tank for each unit, regenerates as one giant system, but one at a time until they go through. One big unit series regeneration. This is how they look, the differences between the two. Both have single tanks, 1 meter, 1 cable network together. Each has a separate meter and cable. They all kind of look the same, except they're going to be connected here. System 7, this is 2 valves alternating back and forth. This is for alternating tanks, bringing one into service while the other one goes offline to regenerate back and forth. This is for constant demand of soft water in lower volume flow rates. System 8 is the same as a System 7, but the regeneration is left until later so that we don't impact water pressure during operation of equipment. System 9, this is 2 to 8 valves. This is for 24-hour water treatment with an extra tank in standby to regenerate an exhausted tank as we go down the list as each one exhausts. So if you're going to have an 8-tank system, you would have 7 in service and 1 in standby, and then one coming offline to regenerate with the standby unit going in. And as each one hits capacity, they're going to regenerate. This is for high volume, high flow rate applications. Now, that's, those twin, quad, triplex up to 8 systems here. One brine tank, separate source brining is available as well. Lots of different options with System 9. System 14, this is demand recall. This is for multiple variable flow rates throughout the day, multiple equipment lines being brought on and off with shifts. So you don't have a real good idea of how much water you're using when. Hotels, this is a great application for this. So anybody can use water when they want, and the softening system will keep up. It'll pick up flows and bring another one online to manage the increase in flow and then step back down when flow rates drop. This is really good in those hard to manage flow rate situations, or when we have equipment. We've got a triplex in our Hanover Park plant to manage the can washing lines for Hanover Park. And as lines are brought on, we have more softeners brought on and then step down as they go down. So lots of use for System 14 in multiple line manufacturing facilities. So things to note: main plumbing line must be able to carry the full flow of the water of the connected systems together. Maximum flow through the valve does not equal maximum flow through the specific media. Media specifications overrule valve specifications. Water treatment meets or exceeds the flow rate and water quality of the application. We don't want to be pushing our treatment trains to their maximum. Water treatment equipment functions better in its hard cutter ranges of service. Network light valves and tanks and media only. You can't network carbon valves, carbon filters or softeners. You can't network 2815s to 2900s. You cannot network 2900s on a 36-inch tank with a 2900 on a 24-inch tank. You need to network like valves with like tank size with like media. Or some other opportunities. We're just scratching the surface here. Everybody use water. Drop us a line at training.request@pentair.com and we'll go from there. And being wet heads, we'll talk water with you all day long. If you just want to talk shop or give us feedback, let us know what you love and hate about the products as well. Or if you have any ideas for training for next year, be happy to hear them.